firstly please introduce yourself, your department and the department in which you are applying.
Hi, I'm Ashish Goel. I'm from the Department of Engineering Physics. I did my BTech over here and I'm mapping into aerospace engineering. So I'm going for an MS in aerospace engineering at Stanford University.
Could you like to share any general app fundas with us?
There are lots of things that I could have told right now, but a couple of things that I would really want to emphasize right now is the importance of starting early. So there are many people who actually are still thinking in the month of September as to what they need to do and how do they start and things like that. So it's very important that by the end of your third year in summer internship, you should be sure of what you want to do, which field you want to app into, which university you want to go into, and which universities you would want to go into, and what do you see yourself doing a few years from now on. So it's very important to start towards the end of your third year internship itself, okay? And the earlier you start, the better will be your apping procedure. And secondly, it's very important to keep yourself organized during the process of apping. So the entire process of apping will probably last for the whole of your 7th semester if you are a BTech and the whole of your 9th semester if you are a dual degree student. And it might seem like a very obvious thing, a very simple thing that you always need to keep yourself organized, but in this specific context I'm telling you it's something very, very, very important, and I'm saying that on the basis of my own personal experience, because there are lots of universities that you have to deal with. These universities unfortunately do not have a common procedure for apping and they do not have common requirements and stuff like that. It's very important to keep yourself organized, to know what all tasks have been completed, what all tasks need to be done for different universities, and how do you go about doing them. So maintaining spreadsheets or making a timeline, following those timelines and doing things in a systematic manner is something very important.
Any specific department level funda, like how should I plan my stay at IITB for apping?
Okay, so I'll talk about the two departments that I've been associated with. The physics department where I studied, and I also apped into physics department in some of the universities, and also about the aerospace department that I'm going into. So regarding physics, in fact, in general, what I would say is do good projects in the institute. I mean, that's something which is very, very crucial. For the sake of apping, extracurricular activities really don't matter. So if you've been a very good intra-IT sports person, or if you've been a manager or a CG somewhere, and to be honest, there are many universities which don't even ask you about such things. They don't even ask you for a resume, they don't ask you for your extracurricular activities. So what's really important is to be able to show that firstly you are good at doing courses. So maintaining CPI is obviously a very, very important factor. And secondly, you have to prove that you are good at doing projects, because once you go into higher studies, there is very little course-based academics. So most of it is related to doing projects and doing research work. So you should be able to prove that you are good at taking up projects, finishing them, taking them to a reasonable conclusion. So and it's not the number of projects that's important. So it's not like you take up a different project every semester and just show that you've done 10 different projects. So it's important that you show that you can persevere and you can continue working on a project for a long time and you can produce results. So that's something you should keep in mind, especially when you start reaching towards your third year. So start taking up projects. So you are apping, I would strongly advise you to go for a third year internship, even though it's not compulsory from now on. I would strongly advise you to take up a BTech project and a seminar in your department if that is available, because these things really matter when you are applying. And the professors over there who are finally going to decide whether they want to accept you or not will essentially look at the projects that you've done and what the professors under whom you've done those projects have to say about you. So you'll essentially be taking your recommendations from the professors under whom you've done your projects. So it's very important that the professors say good things about whatever you've done in your project. And hence it's very important to take those projects seriously. And by projects I mean your seminar, BTech project, internship and everything. Something specific about the physics department is that in all these pure sciences, mathematics, physics and chemistry, you have to give an extra exam called the AGRE. So keep that in mind, because you already have to give a TOEFL, you have to give a GRE, and nowadays some of the universities demand an IELTS as well. So with all these exams in mind, make sure that you plan out all these exams in such a way that you are not flooded with having to prepare for too many exams at a given point of time. So AGRE is something very simple where you where they essentially ask you questions related to similar. The pattern is exactly similar to your JEE screening, and nowadays it's become the pattern of JEE itself. And so you basically will have to revise whatever you had done during your JEE. You go through your H.C. Verma and all those books all over again, and you'll also have to revise whatever you've learned in the last 5 years. And regarding aerospace engineering, I was not from aerospace engineering. While at the time of applying into aerospace engineering, I had not done even a single course in the aerospace engineering department, and yet I got through with the fellowship. So all I'm trying to say is that don't be worried about applying into a different department. If you want to do that, then universities really don't take that very seriously, that you should be from the same background. It obviously helps if you are from the same background, but if you show that you are smart enough, you are capable enough of doing research, and with your smartness you will be able to tackle the pressures and the challenges of going into a totally new department, then you'll certainly be able, they'll certainly accept you if your application looks good. So don't be worried about switching your departments at a late stage.
Any other important points which you would like to share, like how to write an application and what
Yes.
sort of interns or records you offer?
So regarding internships, obviously an internship in an academic institution will be more useful when compared to an industry internship. But in case you are not sure whether you want to go for an app or you want to go for a job, you might want to try out the option of having a look at what the industry is all about. But in case you are completely sure of the fact that you want to go for an app, then trust me, you'll get some app or the other. There are very few students in the institute who don't get any app whatsoever. So if you plan out the various applications properly, like you don't end up applying to all stud universities, or you don't end up applying to all weak universities in all the applications that you send. So you generally, if you are say applying to 8 universities, you divide it like 3 very stud universities where you would like want to go, which are your dream universities like MIT, Caltech, Harvard, Stanford, any of these universities. Then you also apply to some middle level universities like Brown and Chicago and these universities, and then there are some backup universities where you are sure to get. So Europe and Canada are 2 very good countries for backup universities. I mean, the acceptance rate of these universities like Waterloo and McGill in Canada, and lots of these European universities, Max Planck and EPFL and ETH Zurich, and the Erasmus Mundus program in Europe, which gives you an MS with full scholarship. So these programs are very good as backup options. So if you plan out these properly, you are sure to get some app or the other. So in that case, if you are very sure about going for higher studies and going for an app, then you should go for an academic internship at the end of your 3rd year, and you might even probably want to skip the placements just in order to be able to concentrate more on your apping.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.